Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining. We're super happy to see you here. As always, if you can, please let us know where you're dialing in from. We'd love to see where all of you are coming from. I know sometimes we have people from locally here in Asheville. We love to see all the different places. Pamela, she's from Long Island. Welcome. Melina, Brazil. Yes. Marybeth. Where did Marybeth go here? Catskills. Welcome. Tammy from Colorado, but in Florida right now. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you. Caroline from Asheville. Next time you should come here, right?
Yeah.
Like anyone in
Asheville.
Yeah, anyone in Asheville, feel free to message us and let us know, and you can come here in person. Let's see, Linda from San Diego. Tina from Connecticut. Beautiful. All right. Weaverville.
Another Asheville.
Dana, Toronto. Indra, New York. Multiple people from New York. You should connect behind the scenes. It's like, oh, where are you located? Let's see each other, right? Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. No matter where you're joining from, we have Mark from Asheville. We are really blessed to have you here. It's an honor to have your time to participate in these video calls that we do on a monthly basis. Now, real quick, if you're not aware of this, we actually have posted already the entire year, the rest of the year. So all of our webinars from now until the until the end of the year are posted to our website within the events section. So feel free to start signing up for those. Now, for those of you that have your cameras off, we will love to see your faces. It doesn't matter if you're in your PJs or if you're in the backyard or whatever, we'll love to see your faces. Now, in the meantime, while you're turning those cameras on, I am Sandy Viteri. I am your Ayurvedic ambassador at SoHum Mountain Healing Resort. And I am here today with not only an amazing Ayurvedic practitioner and also doctor that specializes in women's health, but she's also a very good friend, Vrinda Devani. And most of you probably have seen her. So in case that you haven't met some of them, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Vrinda. Like she just said, I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and also an obstetrician gynecologist. I practice here in Asheville, but my passion is Ayurveda and integrating Eastern and Western medicine together because, our lineage with Dr. Ladd, he's a big proponent of how the two merge together and how each has their own place. And I really think it's emerging that will help true healing on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Karen, thank you for turning your camera on. Love seeing you. Sending our love all the way from here. So today we're going to be talking about inner alignment for out of balance. Now, we had about 200 and something people sign up for it. That tells me that this topic really resonates with all of you. And what that means, it could mean different things to different people, but for the most part, and I'm just going to share my thoughts on it. For the most part, what happens is life is happening, right? We have work, we have commitment, we have life, we have our, role as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, whatever that may be. And all of them come in with responsibilities. And little by little, when we don't have the time to go inward, the life just starts happening to us. And all of a sudden, one day we hit a wall. And when we hit that wall, we are like, what happened to me? Where did time go? What did I do with my life? So if any of this resonates with you, please raise your hand. Let me know how that sounds. Yeah, I would say for the most part, for most of us, right? Myself included. How about for you? Does
Yes.
that, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I just feel like it is so easy for us to just get caught up. And I think one of the biggest things that like lies that I tell myself is that, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later, and never making time to do it now.
Right.
And it just never happens because there'll always be something to take its place
It's life.
until we prioritize it.
That's right. So what that means is, how do we prioritize ourselves? How do we prioritize that inner alignment so our outer world becomes into alignment? It's not all the way around. Now, if you have a piece of paper, I'm going to invite you to write this down. So typically in life, we think about if I have, so write the word have first. The next thing is, if I have something, I can do what I want to do. So write the word do, have, do. And then the last word that you're going to write down is be. So if I have X, Y, Z, I can do X, Y, Z, and then I can be. Now, that whole philosophy is all the way around because we're focusing on the things that we need to have, like if we have the right job, if we have the right time, if we have the right partner, if we have all these things, then I can do the things that I want so that I can be the person that I want to be, connecting internally with myself. And that whole philosophy, unfortunately, is upside down. So the idea, I want you to write down this now, right? Be first. Then write the word do, and then write the word have. If we start by being, by focusing on our internal alignment, our internal being, the best that we can be for ourselves, automatically we're going to be able to do the things that we want and have the things that we want. So I want you to take a second just to think about the order of how I share that with you and how that has been manifesting for you in today's life. How many times have you thought about, I need to have this, this, and that so that I can do X, Y, Z, so that I can be? And now start reflecting on how, if you were to invert that, if you were to be first and prioritize that to what Brenda says, then how you can then absolutely have the things you want and be. Now I'm going to ask you, Brenda, in your past, not now because you practice a lot of these already.
I don't practice a lot too.
So give us some examples that they can use as they're reflecting upon this. What were some of the things that you thought first, I need to have X to be able to do Y to be this?
Yeah. I mean, I think I see a lot of women on this and probably a lot of moms as well. And so I think the biggest thing for me has always been, if I have more time, then I can actually do my practices that I want to have. And then I'll be peaceful and happy.
There you go.
You're right. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like time. Time is like almost more valuable than even money or things. Like time has become such a commodity these days. And you know, with AI and everything, like what is everyone speaking to? It's like, well, if you do this, you could save all this time. And the funny thing is, with technology, the idea was that if we have this technology, we'll be more efficient and then we can have more time. But what has happened instead? We have technology, we're more efficient, and then we feel like we need to fill that time with something else.
Yeah.
And so our mind is, instead of, you know, before we may have been super busy all day, but we're more like focused on one thing at a time. And that is really, you know, really soothing to the system. But now we're like, okay, we're doing this and I'm going to let that run and I'm going to do this, I'm going to let that. And so our mind is in 20 different places. And so we're doing maybe the same, but we're just so tired. And it's not that we're not more peaceful, we're not more calm and more happy.
Absolutely. Now, for how many of you, time has been the thing that you have been saying, if I have more time, I can do this and that. And you can just type on the chat, me. So you say, me. Time has been the one thing that you have been saying, if I have more of, I can be and I can do. Is time one of those things? Let's see. Maybe not. Okay,
Yeah,
that would be a
India
good
said
thing.
yes.
Interesting. Oh, yeah.
Tammy,
Oh, I don't
Karen.
see them on the chat here yet. Maybe Chris can scroll up. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Me, Tammy, Mark, time and money. Linda,
It's another
time.
big one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Tell us, can you share some examples about when money has been like, if I have money, I can do this and that?
I think there was a point where I was like, if I had more money, then I would be able to do XYZ more experiences that would make me feel more happy and calm and at peace. Yeah, I think that was probably one
Yeah.
big one, was just like the opportunities available because
Right.
of money.
And those are two very common, very, very common. Now, if there is any other ones that you have been feeling that are part of your everyday life, that are kind of stopping you because you're using it as an anchor of alignment, please go ahead and type it. So that way we can discuss it, right? You may have things coming up to you that may not be coming out for us, but that's okay. We can talk through that.
What about energy?
Energy is a good one. Absolutely. If I had more energy, I could do this, that. The reality is that, if I, for example, don't wait to have the energy, but I go ahead and when I don't feel like I have energy and I do my breath work,
Yeah.
or I do go to the gym, even though if I don't have the energy, what I'm going to find is that by the time I finish, I will have that energy. So that is the perfect example, right? Thank you for bringing that one up.
I feel like that's what we see a lot with our clients is energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A desire for more energy.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the idea of sharing this with you is really to introspect and to think about what are the things that you're putting as a priority that are actually leading you to be out of alignment. And how you can now, with this level of consciousness that you have based on the conversation that we're having, how can you turn that around, right? How can you find the balance by saying, okay, if I make myself a priority, and once again, we talked about this in our last month's webinar where we talked about prioritizing yourself is not being selfish. It's absolutely not. That is something that we, for some reason in this world, it was embedded on us. And whenever we needed to take time for ourselves, all of a sudden we felt guilty. We felt like I wasn't giving enough to other people around us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So making sure that you prioritize yourself. So take a second just to reflect on that. In the meantime, now let's talk about when you find that one thing that is stopping you, okay, that is making you think like you have to first give to the world to find that alignment, then let's talk about how, from an Ayurvedic perspective, we can start feeling in our mind, our body, and our soul that we are out of alignment because actually our mind, our body, and soul talk to us.
Oh, yeah.
So can you tell us from an Ayurvedic perspective, how do we feel it? How can we connect to that?
Yeah. So let's start with like the most gross things, right? Like the most obvious things.
Yeah.
And those are our body is screaming in pain usually. We have headaches, we have joint pains, our digestion hurts or isn't working well. Like after a meal, we don't feel good. We're not sleeping well is another big thing. But anything that, the optimal functioning of any of our organ systems, if we're not feeling that, that is like the most gross way. And that's like the point where I say to tell people, it's like the universe has been, your body, the universe has been sending you signals all along, but finally you're listening. It has to be like, okay, you're not listening still. Okay, let me do something a little bit more obvious. You're still not listening. Okay, now you're not listening. I'm gonna give you a really bad headache, so you actually listen to me. But
I mean, pay attention to that. It's like someone, like a friend, like we're friends. Like I would go like, hey, pay attention. Hey, pay attention. Pay attention. That's exactly how your body's talking to you, right?
Absolutely. It is. It really is. But more subtly, you can start to feel the vibrations if you just pause throughout the day. I'm a big fan of pauses in the day. and you just close your eyes and you just feel what are the sensations in the body. You might feel a little bit of constriction in your chest area. You may feel constriction in your stomach area. You may actually notice like, oh yeah, I do have a bit of a sore here. Like I didn't even notice it because it isn't so strong that I needed to do something about it right away, but it's there,
Mhm.
or a slight ache in my joints that I didn't notice. I think energy is another big one. And it's not like all of a sudden we go into a chronic fatigue syndrome. It's a slow progression, right? Like
Yeah.
it starts with not being able to sleep perfectly or just waking up just a little groggy, not enough for you to be like, oh, there's something off, but like just a little groggy, not quite there. Or you might wake up with a dull head that and both of these go away and then you go about your day. Or after meals feeling like, oh, I'm like way tired, or I'm not digesting these foods as well as I probably should. But I think your energy level is a really good
Big
barometer
one.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask, what are some of those things? By you thinking about it, you're bringing awareness. So, what are some of those things that you're feeling that may be a sign of out of alignment that maybe you're not considering? And like Brenda said, it could be your energy, it could be constipation, it could be tiredness, it could be what are those things that you're feeling? Let's see. I can tell you for me, the majority are the ones that you mentioned. Like when I wake up and still tired, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not possible.
Yeah.
Like, so that tells me immediately that my day has been out of alignment, And also, I just wanted to address this that out of alignment is not only out of alignment with like what you're feeling in your body, but also out of alignment with your core values, right? Like maybe um, in alignment with your values would be that a friend calls you and you're feeling like I don't feel like going out tonight.
Mhm.
It's a Friday night, everybody's going, and you feel like saying no, but you ended up saying yes.
Yeah.
That takes you out of alignment because you are basically violating your own values. You're not paying attention to those signals that are saying you're better off resting. You're better off staying home. So you should feel okay and empowered to be able to say no when something feels that is not aligned with your energy and your values as well. So whether it's physical, mental, and emotional, the idea is with this conversation to empower you for you to be able to see those signs, to empower you in a way that you're so very well connected with your own being that you get to see when it's happening and you can act as it's happening, right?
Mhm.
Now, you address some of the signs and how we can feel it. How about if we didn't realize it as it was happening? So we were not able to correct at that time, but now it happened. Now I'm out
Yeah.
of balance.
Sure.
What happens now?
Yeah. So I think the biggest things that you can do as soon as you start noticing your life is out of balance is just journal what your day is like.
Mm.
Start there, just awareness. I think awareness is an underrated tool. Like we always think we need to have like the latest and greatest tools, the latest and greatest like to-do list or the top three, whatever. Just start with awareness and just journal. Okay, I woke up at this time, I felt like this, and then I did this, and then I felt like this. And just, I think I would make it 2 columns,
Mm-hmm.
time or a few. Time, what you did, how you felt after, and just have that awareness. It's like a food journal, except like your daily life journal.
Yeah.
And you will start to notice, like, okay, I didn't even realize that was it. That was the issue. So, when we're doing intakes of our clients when they come to us, I get every detail. And what I'm trying to do in my mind is create a story. Like, okay,
Mm.
it wasn't just she had rheumatoid arthritis. It started this, and before that, this happened, and before that, this happened. So it's like she had the signs, but then this really got it out of balance.
Wow.
And so part of our work is to figure out that story. And you can start to do that for yourself by just becoming aware. Create a journal of what you're doing, when you're doing, and how you feel after. And do this for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
You'll start to see what happened. And you could ask yourself, okay, I have this pain or this issue. When did it start really? Oh my gosh, yeah, it started at that time. What happened right before or around that time? Were you in a major move? Did you go through a divorce? Like
Mm,
what happened? Start to put the story together because a lot of the times what we're finding is that it's not just the physical aspect of your healing, it's also an emotional part of the healing. You've
yeah.
got to work with both of them together. So it's not just that like, you know, that I have this pain and right before it was because I noticed that I changed my diet. Well, there's probably more than just a diet. It was probably some stressor. I need to heal on both of those levels. But I
Hmm.
think number one is just awareness, awareness, awareness. And I tell people, like I tell my daughter this all the time. She's like, I don't like this person now because of XYZ. And I tell her all the time that I don't believe anyone is mean because they want to be mean. You know, they're
Yeah.
in pain themselves. And similar, we don't do things because we want to do it to put ourselves in pain. It's just there's a lack of awareness behind it of like, no, that really does cause me pain. It is because of that that's creating my issue. Because if we had full awareness, we would start to make those changes, you
Wow.
know?
I love the fact that you brought up journaling into all of this. I don't know if you remember, but most of us, when we were little, we had a diary. What happened to the diary? Who had a diary? Raise your hand. I can see Indra, Kath, Caroline, Tammy, everybody, right? So all of a sudden, we just got disconnected from keeping up our diary. How about because we became busy, right?
Yeah.
We don't have time, right? But if we were to do what Brenda just said, what a beautiful tool just to say, you know, I'm going to go back and see how I'm feeling today, how I feel tomorrow, and all those things. And I start tracking, like, oh, this started there. It's just going to bring so much love and awareness into your being. Like, it could be that you talk to a family member and then all of a sudden you started having headaches or not feeling well. How is that relationship with that family member? I can see Indra laughing, but it could be. It could be that we have relationships in our current life that are draining us, that are not making us feel well. So how can we go about through journaling, identifying what are those things that are triggers that are making us feel out of alignment so we can come back into alignment. So going back to that diary, let's all do it, right? And again, it doesn't have to be like homework. It doesn't have to be like, oh, now I need to do this every day at 10 a.m. No, it could be just like as you're feeling it, just write it down.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. There definitely are people that you walk in here like, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. Or you go to a party, which is supposed to be fun, you know, but you're like talking the whole time, and I'm like, wow, that was not fun and relaxing to me at
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
But yeah, just noticing, but and sometimes it's not even about the person, right? It may have been the coffee, or it
Mm-hmm.
may have been
Indra is like, yeah, yeah.
or it may have been the way we respond. Like maybe they were talking about something that was completely benign,
Mhm.
but it's triggering to us. And we should like dig within ourselves and be like, why was that triggered in the
Right.
first place, you know? And so also just kind of doing our inner work in the process.
Yeah, and Army shared that journaling has helped her stay calm during health issues. And thank you for sharing that because now we're going to talk about special moments in our life where we're going through very stressful moment.
Yeah.
And we all have that. It could be anything. It could be we lost our job, or it could be a devastation, something that happened in nature close to you. I mean, we had a hurricane last year at this time of the year, right? And the entire town got affected by it. It could be that you or your own self, you're going through health issues, or a family member, or maybe your children are having a hard time at school, whatever that may be. So the whole idea of finding this inner alignment, I think, is multifaceted. One is bringing the awareness, learning how to connect with your body, learning how to identify what it is, how it is. And you may not have that finger on it all the time, but the more that you can get used to learning, the better. That's what I would probably say, maybe phase one. Phase two is now that you're aware, that then doing something, right? Like you're aware, now you're doing something to be able to manage whatever that feeling may be. And what happens is during these circumstances, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and sensations arise. And those thoughts, emotions, feelings, and sensations may be sadness, anger, stress, grief. And all those feelings lower our vibrational ability to be on our best state. So once you bring that awareness, then you can say, okay, how do I bring myself back up? And then now we're going to talk about what are some of those tools that we can do to bring ourselves back up when we feel now that we are completely drained, that we are tired, that we need to revitalize ourselves. So what are some of the things
Yeah,
that we can
so
do?
I think first and foremost is just if you can create a little staycation break. I wouldn't say vacation even because traveling is exhausting. Packing for the vacation is exhausting.
Okay.
You know, the whole process can be exhausting, but if you can create like just space without having to do much and just rest. So if your body's saying, I am tired, just sleep. Like do nothing. Like forget your morning routine, evening routine, your to-do list. Like I think a lot of us go into a fix-it mode, you know, and just automatically try looking for solutions. And that's a very Western, our society thing that like problem, solution, problem, solution. Just take a break, be in the void and hold the tension of that. It's something I've been experimenting with a lot is this concept of just being present with the tension and not trying to fix it and just trying to listen to it and see what is speaking to me, see what comes out of it, but just make space for the tension and just be able to just hold it and breathe through it without distraction. So if that's available to you to take even just half a day, you know, that will go a long way. Or if you can do a whole weekend or a couple of days or a few days, that's even more powerful. Um, until I had kids, I used to go to Vipassana meditations, which are like 10 days silence. Like you can't even journal during that time. It's like complete like void being in that stillness. And I think that's like number one is just let yourself rest. Stop trying to fix it. Don't try to do anything and just see what comes about. The second thing I'd say is like once you've kind of gone through that phase and gone through that period of just like being with the void, then with the insights you have gained, then try to think of like, okay, what are the pieces of the solution? Oftentimes it's not, again, it's not doing anything, but it's rather simplifying things. So I would ask yourself, what can you get rid of? Like in your diet, what are things you could get rid of? In your day, what can you get rid of? In your to-do list, what can you get rid of? With your kids and families, a million activities, what can you get rid of? Social obligations, what can you get rid of? Really living into this concept of the 80-20 rule. Like what is the 20% that'll give my life most impact? And the rest of it really like, do I really need it? And seeing what you could get rid of. So I think, again, before you go into solutions of doing more, see what you could simplify and get rid of. In Ayurveda, there's a concept that like your Agni, your digestive fire, it takes that Agni to digest anything. Your food, your activities, what you're learning, what you're thinking, conversations, it takes Agni, which is why, you know, like if you've had a stressful conversation and all of a sudden you're like, I have zero hunger after that. It's like that Agni, that power transformation is being used to process what you just went through instead of food. And so just simplify, simplify, simplify.
I hope you all notice how she keeps connecting things, right? It's like that's something for all of us, myself included, to learn, right? Like you said, does the coffee have something to do with my energy? Does the food have something? So maybe becoming more aware of that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought it was beautiful how you're connecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could go into, okay, I've created space. Is there something lacking that needs to come into it? And then you could figure, I mean, there's so many solutions out there, but I encourage you before you get to those solutions, just be in the void, hold the tension, just see what arises, then create space, get rid of things that aren't serving, and then go to your solutions. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to mention doing this doesn't mean you're spiritually bypassing. That doesn't mean you're ignoring. That doesn't mean you're tucking it under the rug. What you're doing is you're being more graceful with yourself. You're pausing. You're using love and nurturing actions to then take you back into balance. And I see Tammy, she had her hand here. That's another beautiful thing to do, right? Like putting our hand on our heart or our chest and just feeling ourselves, taking a deep breath. Like, what am I feeling? Where is the feeling coming from? And all these things that we're sharing with you, they're tools. What are the tools for? To get to know yourself better. That's it. You're getting to know how your brain thinks, how your body feels. You're embodying your own self. You're connecting with your root, with your soul, with your higher self. And that's the whole purpose. And instead of keeping this busy monkey mind that we constantly have, thinking about, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta all the time, we're actually pausing and we're taking it with grace, right? So I want to hear from some of you. If you wouldn't mind, I would love someone to unmute yourself and let us know what are some of the ways that this out of alignment is presenting for you. How are you feeling it? And what are you doing to then bring yourself back into balance? Or maybe you haven't started doing anything, but these things are becoming helpful as you're bringing awareness. So who wants to go? Just raise your hand and then unmute yourself. Let's see, we want to make this conversational. We want to make everybody here contribute.
Yeah, go ahead, Samita.
I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
I mean, I think I know when I'm out of alignment because I feel it. I really use my body to, and I do a body scan. And if maybe there's something heavy on my chest, or I'm grinding my teeth, I have butterflies in my stomach, and I know what they mean. So it does force me to pause. But the solution that I find, which can be quite immediate and very effective, is some breath work. For me, the breathing really can mobilize the vibration, and it's been so helpful. And we're breathing anyway, so it's very doable. But sometimes we just need a little guidance as to how to develop some of that. But it really goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for being vulnerable, for opening up yourself. What you share helps many others on this call. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And you talked about meditation. Meditation is one of those tools that we talk about all the time, and how meditation can help calm down the nervous system and help us come back into our own self. So thank you for sharing that one.
And you talked about breath work.
Breath work.
You know, breath is so in Ayurveda, there's a concept that where there is pain, there's vata, because vata is blocking that prana from moving. There's prana blocked somehow. And so by doing breath work, we're supporting the organized and fluid flow of that prana so that wherever the blockage is, theoretically, it opens, and then that prana can flow again. So pranayama and breath work is amazing. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Now, you mentioned that you first feel it in your body. So let's take that. Because from an Ayurvedic perspective, one of the things that Dr. Ladd says is our thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, they typically somatize into the body if we are not able to release them or to get them through the body. And again, the intention is not to spiritually bypass, but rather to process it, to digest our emotions, just like the way we digest our food, to be able to process it, to feel it to the max. If we're sad, let's just be sad. It is okay to be sad. If we're angry, let's be real angry. Let's feel it, but then we let it go. So can we talk a little bit about what Dr. Ladd says and teaches us all how those thoughts, emotions, feelings, and sensations actually somatize into the body, into specific organs.
Yes.
We're not able to process them. So
Yeah.
can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we begin existence started with vibration, and ultimately our being is vibration, right? We're not, I mean, we look at our hand and we're like solid, we feel we're solid, but really if you like zoom in with a microscope more and more and more and more, it's all vibration, right? And so with any thought that has a vibration that isn't serving, that vibration is going to come to our body, right? Like different organ systems attract different vibrations, and if that emotion is there, it'll encourage to crystallize there. So our liver, for instance, will be like anger and irritation. Our pancreas will be envy, jealousy, attachments. Our heart will be, and our lungs hold grief and sadness, and so on and so forth. And so different organs hold different emotions because it starts off just as a vibration, and then that vibration will crystallize and become more on a gross level apparent in that organ system. And so a lot of times when we have clients with us, we'll be working on, they have fatty liver or whatever in their liver, and we're working on detoxing that liver, and we're, with the therapies and the herbs and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden in the middle, they're just so angry, like they're just so angry and everything is pissing them off. They're just so upset. And it's like, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm so embarrassed, blah, 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 blah. We're like, no, please let it out. Like, this is the process. It's as your body is releasing, it's going to release these emotions as well. And we don't want it to recrystallize in the body. We want it to come out and detangle from the body. And so, yeah, so it's just vibration, then crystallizing into a more gross form, because our existence is vibration to begin with.
So the invitation for you when it comes to this is to go ahead and do that. Realize or bring awareness to where you're feeling it, what kind of emotion you're feeling, and where in your body you're feeling it. And making sure that you allow yourself to feel to the fullest. We have men in this call, which thank you guys for joining. But I have to say, in this society, oftentimes it's like, oh, men shouldn't cry, or men shouldn't feel, or this and that. And for us women, it's a little bit easier to express our emotions. We need to connect with them, and we need to be able to work through that digestion of the emotion. But even more so for men, I feel, because culturally speaking, they have been taught to suppress the emotions. And some emotions that we suppress turn into, it's a saying is, if we suppress our emotions, they turn into depression. Suppression turns into depression. And we may not be aware of what's happening. And all of a sudden, our life is turning upside down. And we're like, what was happening to me? Well, we're suppressing emotions. So how do we digest them as opposed to suppress them, right? Yeah. So that way they don't turn into diseases, right? At SoHum, I can tell you that all of our practitioners look at each of our guests that come in a holistic way. It's all about the mind, the body, and the soul. It's not only about, oh, let's look at, you have challenges with your liver. No, I know all of them always are like, what's going on in your life? Tell me a little bit more about that, right?
Yeah, always. Always.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because you won't, again, the story is incomplete.
There you go.
And you can't really get to the root of things. You can't really support deep healing without getting the whole picture.
Yeah. And again, the purpose is not to spiritually bypass. Now, some of this.
Can I just say something to that? To make space and be fully present with your emotion takes tremendous spiritual effort.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying the type of like, I am sad, I'm gonna be so sad, I'm gonna think the world sucks, and I'm just gonna go wallow in my sorrows. I'm talking about full presence with it, holding the tension of it, making space for it, and just being there. It takes tremendous, you have to learn the ability to be present and not react, which is so difficult. It's so difficult. And so I just want to clarify that, because I do think that it's it can be seen as spiritual bypass. I also think that there's a lot in today's society where it's like, yeah, no, it's your right to be sad and angry, and it is. But like, how do we stay present with it? I think there's like, we have two extremes, but there's a way to honor both of those in a way that is actually more whole and complete.
Yeah, and some of it, I mean, to your point, is that finding that strength within.
Yeah.
Right? Finding that presence, that strength. It also may be finding respect and boundaries with our family members, right? With work or whatever that may be. So if you are at a point in time where you're feeling that you're out of balance and you need to get back into balance, there is nothing wrong with you saying in a very sweet, loving way. It doesn't have to be with anger.
Yeah.
Like, right now is not a good time for me.
Yeah.
Right now, I cannot have this conversation and create those boundaries. Like, I need this space. I need this time. One thing that I use with my husband often, and he's on the call, and I'm glad, I always ask him, like, can you hold a space for me? So if I have an emotion, something that triggered me, instead of going like, blah, 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 like typical Latina that I am, like, I have been able to connect more with myself, and I have been able to now have a conversation with him where I say, can you hold a space for me? I have this that I need to vent, that I need to, and it's not about you coming forward with solutions or doing this or changing the world. I don't need any of that. I just need you to listen so I feel heard. And that automatically, when I feel that love and that compassion from him, I all of a sudden feel like I regulate. I find that regulation, and I'm able then to get back into balance, as opposed to just going away all with my day and pretend that nothing happened, but I'm still hungry. Not hungry, angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are tips, like whatever you can take from the conversation that we're having to help you get back into balance, that would be a wonderful thing, because the more that you're connecting with yourself, the better that you're going to be with your own self, the better you're going to be for the people that you love around you, for, the world entirely around you, right? Now, one other thing that I wanted to mention, and yesterday we went to a meditation class that is the 6-week class. And one of the things that the teacher, Joe, who we love, we both love, at AYC, if you haven't, in Asheville, if you haven't been to our Asheville Yoga Center, you would love it. We'll invite you there. But he was teaching the fact that when we get out of balance, right, like, how can we connect also back into balance? And one of the things is that when we don't create the space, then we're not able to deeply connect with ourselves. So we're shutting ourselves short when we're not doing that, right? We're cutting ourselves short when we're not doing that. So the whole point that he was saying is, when you pause and the things that you said, now your awareness of what's triggering you is greater. Now, how do you prevent that in the future? That's the ultimate goal, right? So how do you prevent that in the future is not about ignoring it, but about that awareness, and then making sure that when those triggers come, that you're able to silently pause and not react. And when you don't react, it's not that you're not letting that feeling go, but you're actually flowing through it, which is very different than getting that anger and you're feeling it, you're paying attention to it. What happens is your heart begins to open. And you're feeling, and I shared this with my husband during that class yesterday, that usually what used to happen to me, and raise your hand if you feel this, but when you have something that throws you out of balance, typically you contract. You close your heart. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, who else feels that contraction? That's typically the first thing. You feel in your heart, you feel in your chest, you feel in your throat, right? In your throat, like you're not able to, I do, Linda, thank you. You're not able to communicate what you want to say. Why? Because we're closing. When we're closing, we're not flowing. We're not flowing, we're not feeling. We're not feeling, we're stepping away from life. we are taking away from our joy. We're taking away, and it's not the other person's responsibility or blame. It's our own choice. And I see you, Tammy, holding your heart there. That's exactly what it is. So how can we keep that beautiful heart open even during the most difficult times and challenging times? That is the challenge.
Yeah.
That's what we want to invite you to experiment with. Can you go through that difficult time? Pause, feel, let it flow through, and not shut yourself, not close your heart. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. And it can be so difficult in
It's
the most,
difficult.
right?
It's so hard.
Yeah. And so, one of the really practical things that I talk a lot about when it comes to just creating alignment, because you want to be able to have the space to do that.
Yeah.
Like you want to have like some level of like steadiness to be able to go into that. Like if you're like way up here, like stressed out, you won't even remember to do that. If your like energy is down here, you'll be too tired to do it. Like you want to have some awareness of the pain and triggers to be motivated to do something about it, but you need to have some level of steadiness. And what I encourage a lot of people to do is, and this has been like my soapbox for the last like 5 years, is if you want to talk about alignment and just really bringing that into your being in the first place, align with the sun.
Ooh, I love that.
Because our biology is made to mirror the sun. When we are aligned with the sun, our hormones are working better. When we are aligned with the sun, our mind works better. When we are aligned with the sun, we sleep better. Like everything works better so that when we hit these moments,
Yeah.
we are at a certain steadiness in our life that we can enter that in a deeper way, And so I feel strongly that just look at the rhythms of nature around you. And if you do nothing else, watch the sunrise,
Mm.
watch the sunset, or be aware of the sun setting. Make your home align with that. So don't have bright lights at 9 p.m.
Mm.
Like let it start to warm down and settle down and slow down in your home. And with the moon, same thing. Like watch the moon go to a full moon and feel the like lusciousness of that moon in the full state. And as it wanes down to a new moon, allow yourself to settle down and like go more internal. With the seasons, right? Why are we traveling to 20 places in December? Like this is the solstice. It's the darkness. It's the void of nature. What is the rest of nature doing? It's going internal. It's hibernating. Our highest energy should be in the summer. That's why our whole society is like flipped backwards. We're so on overdrive throughout the winter. And then it comes to summer, we're so exhausted.
Yeah.
And we want breaks and we want to do nothing but just lay around in the sun and like soak up this energy because we have no more energy. But just align with the rhythms of nature. Simple. You don't have to do a 20-part breathwork practice. You don't have to, I mean, if you can, it's great. You don't have to do an hour yoga routine. Again, if you can, it's great. You don't have to have your diet 100% to the T. Again, if you can, it's great. But just align with the rhythms of nature. You will automatically find your body settle in a different way entirely just with that. And then the other thing that we talk a lot about in Ayurveda is that Brahma Muhurta time, which is essentially technically after 3, almost 4, up until sunrise and a little bit after sunrise. And this is known as the magic time because it is when things are so in transition, like you're going from the dark of the night towards the day, and it's like that veil, and the veil between our realm and the divine is more transparent. Like it's more subtle, You can perceive things more. And I'll tell you honestly, in the last 2 weeks, my husband and I made a pact, like we are waking up in Brahma Muhurta. Usually we have like excuses. We'll do our routine still, but we'll have our excuses of what time to wake up because we're like, oh, this child was up all night because their shoulder was hurting or whatever. Like, I should sleep in. I was on call. I should sleep in. I was, whatever. We have a million reasons for why we should be able to sleep in. But we experimented it with like, no matter what, we're going to be waking up at 5 a.m. latest. And it has been magic for us because we're still doing our routines, but it's like the world is quiet. It is subtle. And what that has done for me, like just throughout my day, I'm like, oh yeah, like it wasn't that I didn't have time. It's just my mind was so active. And I noticed this even in my meditations, like, okay, I gave myself 50 minutes to meditate this morning. Why do I not feel restful at the end? Like I meditate for 50 minutes. I should feel good at the end. But my mind was active still, but changing my rhythms and all that has really helped me to be like, no, I have 15 minutes. Look how peaceful and beautiful and serene and how connected I feel with my inner capital S self, with the divine. And no, I do have time because I made 45 minutes to meditate,
That's right.
It's just a mental thing. So anyway, for whatever it's worth, to get to that place of somewhat steadiness so we could get into that space, align with the rhythms of nature. Simple. And you don't have to do anything except watch the sunrise, watch the sunset, be aware of the moon, calm down when the moon is waning. Winter, try not to be crazy and travel to 20 places. Just like be in tune with the rhythms and you'll find your body just settles differently.
Yeah, yeah. And that actually, if you think about our ancestors, that is how they used to live. They were guided by everything that was happening in nature, right? The time that they woke up, they were not alarm clocks. They were waking up with the sun. Because why? By the time the sun was down, there was no light. So they had to go to sleep. It was part of their natural process. They were connected to nature. And to Brenda's point, this really helps you regulate your circadian rhythm. And when your circadian rhythm is back in alignment, you're going to find that you're not even going to need that alarm clock. Maybe the first few times you may need it. But then after you start doing that, what you're going to find is that you no longer need that alarm clock. So once again, all these things are little tips and tricks and tools to help you find that inner balance, make yourself a priority, make these little tips a priority. Indra said, even my cats are calm at this time. Of course, is that you can feel it. And Linda said, dim all tech lights early. Absolutely. So these are little things that you can start making, little changes. I know Brenda told me this weekend, I made a pact with my husband to keep the cell phones out of the room. I'm like, good for you. I need to do that with my husband. So
Watching in the bathroom now.
that's right. So all these little things that you can begin to do just to be more aware of your own self and how do you create this beautiful vitality within your own self. So then you can bring that to the world. That saying that says, when you're in an airplane, always put the mask first on you, otherwise you're not going to be able to. It is true. That guidance is done for a reason. If we go and put the mask on someone else first, guess what? We're not going to be able to put it eventually on ourselves or help anyone else. So make sure you put that mask on you first, okay? Now, I know we're getting here to the top of the hour. If anyone else was interested on the topics about how to connect with nature, all those things, that is something that we talk about on our Living Wisdom membership. And Brenda is the one that is always there talking about all these tips and tricks. That is actually something that we give to all of our clients that come to SoHum. So it's automatically, they get 1 year membership to the Living Wisdom to teach you how to go through the seasons, how to connect and feel when you're out of balance and get back into balance, right? Now, I wanted to share something very special here before we go, because I know we only have 5 minutes left. And what that is that we're going to be hosting a special women's retreat this year for the first time ever. just for women. And Vrinda right here is the one leading it. So I couldn't think of a better person to actually share what's going to happen here, because it's going to be all about shadow work and cleansing and connecting. So why don't you tell us, because I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me too. So myself and Erica, so if you've come to SoHum, you probably met her as well. She's a clinical psychologist. She's done rites of passage work, priestess work. Like, she's just amazing.
Yeah.
So the two of us are leading this retreat. It's in November 30th. And I love that time of the year, again, because of the darkness, and you just go inward in such a beautiful way. And really the purpose of this retreat is for us to connect with the larger Divine Mother, but then work on our own shadows so that we can rise back up towards that as well, knowing that I feel like our society has lost the art of the matriarch. And I think a lot of our problems in society is because the matriarch is gone. You know, the grandmothers were the ones that really held so much of society together and the family unit together. And a lot of I think part of it is just the lack of value of the eldership, whether you're a man or woman, but also because I feel like we haven't done our own healing to rise into that role as well. So it's a blend of that work along with Ayurvedic work. So, you know, I'll be doing a personal call with each person, putting you on an herbal formula. You'll be getting body work every single day, and we'll curate what body work you're getting according to this call. Erica will do a personal call with you as well. And then we'll have processes each day to kind of go through this process. So there's going to be physical healing, emotional healing, mental healing, as well as practical tips, you know, like, what should you do with the full moon? What can you do with the new moon when you're menstruating, or what if you're menopausal, like rituals around that. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful retreat. I am so excited about, because I really believe we need to nurture ourselves to rise into that role again. And I really feel like that is one of the deepest healing needs of our world today.
Absolutely. So if anyone on this call is interested on learning more about this retreat from November 30th through December 7th, it's 7 days, it's an all-inclusive retreat. We just put the link on the chat. So feel free to click there, open the landing page, and take a look at everything that we will be offering. Now, I want to open it up on the next few minutes here that we have left for any questions. Any questions related to what we talked about, related to living wisdom and the rhythm of the seasons, or anything that may come up. So feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, or post the question into the chat. We're here to support you and answer any questions that you may have. Anyone? Going once? I mean, this is a great opportunity. You can ask anything. Would there be a recording of this meeting? Absolutely, Angelina. You will actually get an email within 48 hours with the link to the recording. And also, if you're ever curious about any of the webinars that we do live on a monthly basis, if you go to our SoHum website, within the About section, there is a page called Events, and you can go there. And within that page, you'll see the calendar for the rest of the year of the upcoming webinars, as well as at the bottom, you will get to see all the recordings. And actually, Melina so beautifully just posted here, thank you, Melina, the link to that page. So you can see what's coming up and you can join us. Arnie, thank you so much for joining. So if we don't have any questions, thank you so much, beautiful souls, for joining us. We love you all. We send you a big heart, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next webinar. There is a question.
Is there a limit in registering? We do have a cap of how many people can register, but you could register, I don't know.
Yeah, registrations are open as of right now, and we do have a limit up to 12 people. So those are going to go fast. If you're interested, make sure that you contact us and we can give you all the information. Okay? All right, beautiful souls. We hope you have a beautiful day and a beautiful rest of your week. And please, please, please connect with yourself and find that balance. We love you.